Joining me now is Caroline Heldman, a professor at Occidental College and a Democrat strategist, as well as Rina Shah, Republican strategist and former senior presidential campaign advisor. Thank you both for being with us.
Good to see you, John.
Thank you.
Okay, so Democrats wanting to challenge Harris for this presidential nomination have until the end of the week to get into the race. CNN is reporting that the Democratic National Committee chair, Jim Harrison, also pledged to the party being committed to an open and fair nominating process that reflects the dedication to democracy our party stands for, end quote. So, Caroline, to you, is that really a fair democratic process, or is it as close as time will allow? And at this point, is Kamala Harris really the best candidate to try and beat Donald Trump?
Well, I think the party is coalescing around her. I think that statement is a little disingenuous because whoever wants to challenge her would have to get at least 300 pledged delegates by the end of the week, and that's a tall task. The Democratic Party is very clearly coalescing around Harris. She is the chosen candidate. All of the potential competitors have endorsed her, from Newsroom, right, to Beshear, to Shapiro, to Governor Whitmer. So she doesn't really have competition, and she already has 1,000 delegates. She only needs about 2,000, just under 2,000 delegates. So she is well on her way, and that is because the party is really coalescing behind her.
Is she the best candidate?
Is she the best candidate? Well, you know, it would have been very risky for them to step over her. And I think what's happening now, the enthusiasm I'm seeing is really unusual. So $81 million raised in 24 hours, mostly from small donors. The 28,000 volunteers coming forward. That is 100 times the daily average.
Well, Harris met with former Biden campaign staff, now Harris campaign staff, on Monday. President Biden called in. Here's part of what was said.
The name has changed at the top of the ticket, but the mission hasn't changed at all. And by the way, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be out there in the campaign with her.
It is so good to hear our president's voice. Joe, I know you're still on the call.
I'm watching you, kid. I'm watching you, kid. I love you.
I love you, Joe.
A lot of love in that room. Rina, to you, a new candidate, same record as Joe Biden, but there's also real contrast here as well. The prosecutor versus the convicted felon, the woman of colour against the old white man. You know, the age factor has been flipped. So how do Republicans now orientate towards that?
Well, in many ways, the identity race is already being shaped, and has been shaped for some time, because this matchup is the one that Kamala Harris did want back in the approach to 2020's election. Now she's getting it, and the Trump team should be ready to take her on. You know, if they're not ready, then they've frankly been lying to the American public, because so many of them have taken that tone that this is going to be a race between Trump and Harris, no matter how long Joe Biden is able to remain in office. And now we know he's going to serve out this term. And here comes Harris with a war chest, it seems. And it is, you know, that foregone conclusion that she is going to be at the top of the ticket for the Democrats in 100-some days. So the time is ticking. And of course, when we talk about solutions, I think that's the part of the race that I was ready to start. And it's already started. Kamala Harris can go after Trump on all these areas where she seems to be quite strong. When it comes to abortion, for example, she does tend to pull those independent voters and even center-right women. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the numbers and her being able to best him overall. And I am still not sure about the polling, because post-RNC, last week's Republican National Convention, we haven't got a good readout of what people are thinking of Trump's VP pick either.
Okay, well, also during that meeting with campaign staff, Harris laid out her qualifications. She also hinted at how she would go after Donald Trump. Listen to this.
Before I was elected as vice president, before I was elected as United States Senator, I was the elected Attorney General, as I've mentioned, of California. And before that, I was a courtroom prosecutor. In those roles, I took on perpetrators of all kinds. Predators who abused women. Fraudsters who ripped off consumers. Cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
Caroline, a Republican congressman on Monday described Harris's presidential nomination as a DEI hire, reference to diversity, equity and inclusion programs in many workplaces which are despised by those on the right. So is that a winning message from the GOP, especially when you listen to Harris's resume there? Basically what they're saying is that only straight old white men can be president.
Well, that bias is definitely built in. We know that women have a voter bias against them, and because they're not seen as properly masculine enough to be good leaders. We know that people of color face that bias as well. And Harris is facing something really unusual, right, called misogynoir. It's bias that is both gender and race aimed at Black women. And we've already seen plenty of this framing. You just brought some of it up. This idea a DEI candidate suggests she's not qualified. She obviously is. She's also been framed with the Jezebel frame that she slept her way to the top. It's just overt kind of racism and sexism all wrapped up into one. And your question about how it's going to play, I think it plays really well to Donald Trump's base. I think it plays less well with independents. And I think it is probably going to cause a lot of Democrats to get very angry. We saw a lot of misogyny in 2016, and I think we'll see even more of that now in 2024.
Rina, how do you see those comments and how that plays into the campaign, especially with Trump's base?
Well, I think Republicans ought to be a bit more scared of Kamala Harris than they are projecting at this point. If she has this appeal that is supposedly there with young progressives, we can expect it to sort of widen. There's been a lot of frustration that's pent up between millennials and Gen Z, particularly with Gen Z, because they delivered the White House to Biden Harris. And what they have felt on some level is disregarded over the past couple of years by Biden. So will they take it out on Harris? I don't think so. I think they may look at her with a fresh set of eyes, and that's problematic for Republicans because I've seen some polling that suggests that younger people are sometimes looking to be a little bit more conservative, but then, we always got to take these polls with a grain of salt.
Well, we talked about the money, which was, $80 million, which jumped into the Harris campaign in the last the first 24 hours after Biden dropped out of the race. So the former Biden campaign now has cash on hand, just topping around $250 million. Rina, very quickly to you, should the Trump campaign be concerned about that, or is it simply a surge in fundraising which has been on hold?
Well, I do think this influx of money may have a lot more to do with people just so relieved and happy that the Democrats' infighting is no longer spilling outside the Beltway. Look, people are generally pretty happy that there's now unity in the party. There's no longer Democrats in disarray on the headlines every day of news media. And in essence, what they feel is a good energy about a very qualified vice president. She is the most accomplished and experienced one that we have seen in this office in our young country's history. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Is it personal entirely? I'm not sure. But I will say this last bit. It was good to see Kamala Harris signal that she's open to an open convention in the statement that she put out on the day that Joe Biden stepped aside. I think that can encourage some more donors and perhaps give another influx of money when it's needed. But I don't think the Republicans are that scared right now because they're counting on big dollar donors and billionaire types to come through for them.
It's good to have billionaire friends.
Indeed.
Caroline and Rina, thanks to you both. Good to see you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.